Good evening, everybody. It's your old pal Martin Mellett here. Hope you're going well. Today it is Monday the 14th of March 2022. Now the second Monday in March, no matter what the day is Commonwealth Day. Now Commonwealth Day celebrates the diversity of membership of the Commonwealth of Nations. You know, it's pretty much membership about what happened after the British Empire broke up, because you gotta look back to history. What the British did, they went to the Americas, and they had the 13 colonies in America, but the United States of America isn't a member of the Commonwealth, but they could be. Then of course what they did in Canada and the Caribbean and Guyana and Belize, and let's not forget most of Southern Africa was British. So it's places like Egypt, Iraq, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. That was all part of the British Empire. Australia, New Zealand, a lot of the Pacific Islands were part of the British Empire. Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Burma, that was all part of the British Empire. You see, the funny thing was, not every former British colony is a member of the Commonwealth, like Burma, Egypt, Sudan, United States, America, and also not every member of the Commonwealth is actually a British colony. I mean, look at Mozambique, they were Portuguese, or Rwanda, they were German and Belgium, but the Commonwealth of Nations have admitted them. I have taken pride in my 12 years of travel to visit some of these former British colonies. You know, I lived 30 years in Australia. I had to go to New Zealand many times in my life because of family. I took a 2-day trip to Papua New Guinea, even though I had to tell Australian customs to get fucked. I spent many trips going to Malaysia in my 20s. I went to Singapore a couple of times. I had a day in Brunei. I've been to Hong Kong, that was part of the British Empire until 1997, when that was the end of the British Empire. I've lived the last 6 years of my life in the United Kingdom, Great Britain, Northern Ireland. My ancestry is English, Scottish, and also Irish. Even though Ireland doesn't really want to be held part of the Commonwealth of Nations. I've taken trips to the Gambia last year. That was a former British colony. Let's see. I went to Guyana a couple of years ago. That was also British. Went to Belize. That was a former British colony. Even, would you believe it, the coasts of Nicaragua and Honduras, the Mosquito Coast, that was also British. And the people who live along that coast on the Caribbean, like where the Garifuna people live on the Caribbean coast, they speak English as a first language. So the British Empire has done a lot of good things to other people, even though, the British did horrible things to people in India during the partition, or let's not forget Palestine, or let's not forget, apartheid in South Africa and all. But you gotta take your hat off, to all those Commonwealth migrants who helped out the United Kingdom in World War I, World War II. You gotta remember, the Battle of Britain, it wasn't just, exiles from Poland, Belgium, France, Czechoslovakia. There were people from Newfoundland, Canada, Americans disguised as Canadians, as they didn't want to avoid the Neutrality Act. There was a few Jamaicans, a Barbadian. There was even a guy from South Rhodesia, plenty of South Africans, all fighting the Battle of Britain to defend the British Isles from Nazi and fascism. And then let's not forget all those Windrush migrants who came to the United Kingdom in 1948 aboard the Windrush, who rebuilt Britain after what happened in World War II. And then we'll never forget all the other migrants from South Asia. What about the Indians who were kicked out of Uganda in 1972? There are so many different British people who have Commonwealth ancestries, Joan and Jackie Collins' father was a Jew born in South Africa. Colin Minogue's mother was Welsh. Living John's dad was Welsh. Jason Donovan had British ancestry. Think about all these other a lot of famous British people. They've got Caribbean ancestry, South Asian ancestry, African ancestry. It's all good. And my good mate David Lammy, the MP, his parents came from Guyana. He got on the boat, came to Britain, fixed up this country after World War II, and he now sits in the House of Commons. So I take pride and honour of being a citizen of the Commonwealth, because I have been able to vote in British elections, and I have been lucky to visit a lot of countries like visa-free in the past. But one thing I will not stand for in the United Kingdom is xenophobia against, us Commonwealth people who come to this country to fix things up, to do a better job, and we get discriminated against because, some British employers would rather hire dickheads from the EU because it's much easier. Look back in history. People from the Commonwealth did so much great things for Great Britain. Let us stay. We don't do stupid things. If we did stupid things, we could get kicked out. So anyway, that's my discussion for today. I'm Martin the Metalhead. I'm over and out.